We are Milwaukee.
We are Milwaukee.
Where we love our hometown.
Where we love our country.
We are Milwaukee.
Not a statistic.
Not a stereotype.
But a place where the good far outweighs the bad.
We are Milwaukee.
Where you don't have to look too far
to see people making a difference.
We are Milwaukee.
Welcome to the second annual Positively Milwaukee Awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Harley-Davidson Museum near downtown Milwaukee, here's your host, today's TMJ4 news anchor, Carol Meekins.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Positively Milwaukee Awards. What a wonderful crowd. Tonight, we are going to be able to celebrate some of the quiet heroes in our community. And with the exception of the Beacon Award, our honorees are not household names or celebrities. They're just everyday people who made a choice. They made a choice to devote their lives to helping others. These are the real stars. We can applaud that. Now tonight, we will honor a teenager, a teacher, a quilter, and a coach. And we're gonna celebrate a Packers legend who gives back and a dad whose son just wanted to play hockey. We will also recognize 2 women devoted to helping the homeless, and we will pay tribute to 2 Milwaukee police officers. And what makes tonight even more special is that these honorees were nominated by you, the friends, the family, fellow volunteers, people who truly know them the best. Now, each week on today's TMJ4, I am very lucky. I have an honor. I get to highlight just a few of the unsung heroes during our Positively News segment. And before we meet tonight's honorees, let's look back at some of the other inspiring people that we have featured this year. Positively Milwaukee, proving the light of goodness glows bright.
It feels great. I feel honored and blessed that I am able to be the one that people come to.
It's more than just a pair of shoes, it's just the love and like everything that we had to do to make it happen.
We see people radiating love to homeless teens.
They've been put out on the street. These are babies out here, y'all. It hurts.
Fathers helping young men shine.
These young people need a voice. Their families need a voice.
We can change some things in this world.
Some overcome prison.
My daughter's 18, my son is 17. Being out of their life for about 14 years was really the catalyst to get me to want to change.
Others salute our service members.
Just for me, rewarding at the end of the day to keep a veteran or their family off of the streets and provide them with shelter and food makes all the difference in the world.
Some sparkle when they volunteer.
And I'm going to do it as long as I can. That's when I can't walk or speak or whatever, then I think I'll quit.
There are those facing challenges but still filled with hope.
So far, the only thing I haven't mastered is tying the shoe.
He's got a very positive vibe about him, and it spreads throughout the store. When King's here, you know he's here.
Others lifting the darkness of trauma.
When we first got here, we didn't have anything.
8-year-old girl wrote this to you.
Yes.
Oh, thanking you.
Thanking you.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
It is, and I was just like...
That makes me happy. We see how sharing talent can change a life.
They couldn't believe she was singing with me. She hadn't even spoken in over a year.
I believe that art teaches empathy, so if I can understand your artwork, I might be able to understand you a little bit better.
And the enlightenment of fresh-faced youth.
We had a lot of courage and confidence.
Always stay positive, and everything about negative stuff, don't think about.
And every day, thousands inspire, giving light in their own unique way.
Just because you fail does not mean that you're not fantastic. Because I'm here, I failed, but I was still cute.
Mima still makes me laugh. I can't help it. Now, clearly, there are so many people in our community using their time and talents really to make a positive impact. So let's meet tonight's very special honorees. Now, our first award will go to a former science teacher who changed his focus to the arts and is changing young lives in the process. And here to present our Inspiring Teacher Award is today's TMJ4's anchor, Shannon Sims. Shannon.
Good evening. His name is Juana Rios, but everyone at Roosevelt Middle School of the Arts just calls him Mr. J. Roosevelt is part of the National Turnaround Arts Program, which helps transform and challenge schools through music, theater, and the visual arts. Juan, according to his principal, is the heart and soul of that program. Talented musician and composer, even in his own right, Mr. J is using his gifts to help young performers shine. But if you ask his students, it is his guidance and his compassion to show outside of the classroom that makes Juana Rios such an inspiring teacher.
Students are at the center of everything, period. You know, and I'll be fighting for that until the day I die, you know. All the kids, they have to matter.
I think what a student sees in Mr. J that is inspiring is he's willing to take the risk. And because he's taking that risk, they begin to realize they can take risks too.
He makes people feel good about themselves.
He really is the heartbeat of the school, so to speak.
Mr. J, he was my 6th grade science teacher. He was a cool person. He still is a cool person.
He really gets to your heart, like, he speaks to your soul.
I grew up right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, born and raised. I just come from a family of educators. We talk about trying to have the arts permeate through everything that we do because we understand the value of the tool the arts is.
We really seek to validate the experience of all the kids through the arts, and Turnaround Arts helps us do that.
The biggest thing that arts has brought to the kids is the realization that there is something in them that they have to offer which no one else can.
The qualities and the things that they learn through the arts process and through participating on stage, there's a multitude of things that they can do as a result of it. I use myself as an example. There's nothing wrong with the fact that it's fun. There's nothing wrong with the fact that they enjoy to do it.
Definitely seen a positive effect.
I wrote an original piece based on the life of Frederick Douglass for his 200th anniversary.
I had a friend come up to me, and after seeing it, he said, "Is this guy something like a genius?" And I said, he really, really is.
We ended up bringing 13 kids to perform at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C.
The Kennedy Center was amazing. It was perfect. Standing ovation, they was so proud of us. Like at the end of the show, they came out congratulating us, telling us that we were kind of one of the best performances that was there and how inspiring it was.
The person that handles the music production for Hamilton gave us a like on Twitter. So it was a really, really big thing for us.
Me personally, like, I really don't have, like, my father is not really in my life like that. So Mr. J stepping in as a father figure is amazing.
They know I love them too. I do. I view them as my children. The gift is in seeing them celebrated. The gift is in seeing them grow and shine and knowing that these people are coming in from the community to see them. You know, that's a level of importance that they're not accustomed to outside of their home, and sadly, some inside of their home.
This here auditorium is literally where it all started. So when we become big people, like, I can look back and think, I came here, and I decided, let me give life a chance. Let me go experience more, and it happened here.
When I make it to the big leagues, I won't forget about Mr. J. Bring him right along with me. He'll be my mentor, my guide, you know, just a huge inspiration in my life.
When I grow up and I become famous, I'm speaking it into existence. When I become famous, I will shout out Mr. J. I will shout out this school and be like, this is where it all started. I want the world to know we got the best teacher. They don't. They should be jealous. They should envy us because we have the best teacher.
I really, really thank you, Mr. J, from the bottom of my heart, and I hope you'll stay at Roosevelt forever.
Mr. J, he's a loving person. I love him with all my heart. You know, he like a father figure to me. You know, if I had to pick out my own dad, it would be Mr. J.
I want them to be successful people, I want them to be respectful people, and I want them to be people who give back to their city. Be prideful for where they're from. A lot of negativity is said about the city, but the city is a hub for great minds, talented, caring individuals who want to see our children succeed. And whatever they can do to jump in on that train, I'm there to help them do it.
I know firsthand how it is for a teacher to believe in you in the arts and let you know that anything you do is possible. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, and the students from Roosevelt Middle School, I present to you the inspiring teacher, Juana Rios.
Wow, wow, y'all are too good to me. That was amazing. Roosevelt ready? Roosevelt! Those are my babies over there. I gotta thank my grandfather, my grandparents who had remarkable children, who had remarkable children, who had remarkable children. Thank you to TMJ Ford, thank you to Positively Milwaukee. Carrie Hansen, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do the work that we do. You're so special. Don't ever give up. Ms. Fisher, I believe you're a star. My mom, man, my mom is like, she's the reason God smiles. My father's made of the stuff that you have to be made of to make it in America as a black man out the west side of Chicago, out the projects. Thank my father for being a father to me. I just want to say a few words on behalf of my students. I just want to speak on their behalf. The work I'm doing is largely despite of the system. It's not because of it, and that's what needs to change. We have a shared responsibility to offer our children equal access to equitable resources to ensure every child has the opportunity to succeed in Milwaukee. Colleagues, the students know that they're sometimes a bit much to handle. That's because they should be. They're kids. And a lot of them are going through things that most adults won't even go through in their lifetime. We're in a crisis in our community, and it's about time that we do something about it. The correlation between black males incarcerated and suspensions, that's not a coincidence. We have to do something to fix that. The school is most often a reflection of the community. We aren't doing enough to solve these issues. We're schools, we need to be equipped with the resources to provide for these children. Every decision that we make, how we run our offices, our staffing, every single decision should begin with the single question: is this in the best interest of the child, and how is it in the best interest of the child? We owe it to them to figure that out. The arts is always the first to be cut. It's always the first to have resources given to them last. The arts are so important because it represents the identity of our children. So you're not just cutting the arts. You're not just neglecting the arts. You're neglecting and cutting the identity of these children. It matters. It's an incredible tool that engages them in education. We have to do better. We have to do better for our children in our city. Our social workers and our counselors are outnumbered. Doctors have nurses who have billing and coding administrators. Provide our teachers with those same resources so they can get back to being the healthcare providers in the educational aspect. They do surgery every day in the classroom. We're better than what we become in Milwaukee with regard to our students. These are not my words. Ask them. Ask them. Their class sizes are too large. There's not enough teachers in the room. Ask them why. If you're a decision maker and any of these proposals, you say no, you owe it to them to explain why they're not worth it. They like to believe that everybody in this room wants to fight for them for better. And for those of you who are on this journey with me, the honorees here tonight who are making a positive impact in our city, join me in asking for more help. We need it. We need it. It's time, and they're tired of waiting, and you can ask them. So y'all, this is for you. I love each and every one of y'all. We will always be Roosevelt ready. Roosevelt proud. Thank you so much.
Yes, let's give a standing ovation for Mr. J. Congratulations again to Mr. J, and I'm sure many, as the young student said in the video, would be jealous and should be jealous to not have had a teacher like you. Our next honorees are actually two women who saw a real need in our community and just decided to do something about it. Here to present them with the positive Milwaukee Award for Unsung Hero, My Better Half on TV, anchor Charles Benson.
Good evening. When Eva Welch, Shelley Saracen, and their team of volunteers hit the streets of Milwaukee, they are on the lookout for friends. What makes their mission special is that the friends they are seeking are mostly homeless and in need. Eva and Shelley started Street Angels Milwaukee, an outreach program, a few years back when they were both volunteering at a winter warming shelter. They noticed that many of their friends who lived on the streets did not have access to clean clothes, blankets, hygiene products, or even a warm meal. Through donations and a lot of determination, the organization now serves hundreds of people a week. The Street Angels go wherever they are needed. And for Shelley and Eva, the most important thing that they provide is hope.
Homelessness does not discriminate. You know, you're going to find them on every side of town, every skin color, every religion. I mean, we've seen babies to 80-something out here. Street Angels is a homeless outreach mission. Our goal is to make an immediate impact on the people we meet, form relationships, and hopefully at some point lead them down a path that gives them a better tomorrow.
We are 100% community supported by donations and volunteers. As it comes in, it's going out, and you are making an immediate impact on someone's life.
We ordered chicken and we're going to package it here.
Okay.
We go out 3 days a week with hot meals and lunches, anywhere from 100 to 120 people per night.
When they started, they were operating out of the trunk of Shelley's car. They saw people who were outside, who were hungry and lonely, and they just decided to start driving around with supplies in their car. It was like that simple.
The meals that we hand out are our tools for gaining trust and paving their way to permanent housing or that future job or just being their friend.
Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
The thing that's so striking about even Shelley and the group that they brought together is that all that is done in the kindest possible way. No one ever feels hassled or questioned or pushed or pressured. It's very welcoming all the time. They feel at home. That's huge for someone who doesn't have a home to feel at home when Street Angels rolls out.
Street Angels! It's not us and them, it's just us. They're our friends, and we've built that relationship, and it's incredible.
We're honored to be the vessel of this mission. People are constantly thanking us, and it's like, I don't think a lot of people realize what this mission has done for both of us.
Never in a million years did I think that us just going out in the back of our car and taking out a meal would save lives, to, you know, lift the homeless stigma. No, they don't look like bums. You know why? Because you guys are clothing them. the biggest stereotype is that they're lazy, and they are absolutely not. They're smart, and they're funny, and they're educated, and a lot of them have jobs.
When that truck comes by, they come out because they know how they're going to be treated. They're going to be treated as friends. They're not going to be treated like they're cases or they're screwed up. So different, so different. They're really wonderful, very subtle leaders, you know, because they're leading by example. That's the greatest kind of leader. I think that's amazing. It's wonderful.
I can't thank you enough for this.
You're welcome. Glad we had it for you.
Our goal is just to have fun and to bring them light out of their darkness. I mean, it's heavy being on the street, and to have that, you know, relationship and true, genuine friendship is absolutely incredible.
Our goal is to leave them smiling.
Yeah, and we do.
Yeah. We're out here dealing hope.
So please welcome to the stage our 2018 Unsung Heroes, Eva Welch and Shelly Saracen, Milwaukee Street Angels.
We are extremely honored to be here tonight and humbly grateful to be receiving this award, and extremely grateful to the TMJ4 staff and everyone who put this together. We wanted to start out with a little quote that we kind of go by from Germany Kent. If you want more hope for your future, go help someone else have more hope for their future.
When we started Street Angels 3 years ago, never in a million years could we have imagined the impact we would have on the homeless community. A community of amazing, lost, intelligent, wandering, funny, and caring individuals who we get the honor to call our friends. Friends who we get the privilege to guide and support on their paths to a better tomorrow. Hugs and kind words have proven to be life-changing.
I wanted to personally thank my family, who has supported me in everything that I do and is 100% behind me in this mission, and our board members that are here with us today that have been with us the entire time as well.
And I would like to thank my husband and my daughters who have selflessly shared my passion for helping others, whether it's making bag lunches, sorting donations, or fixing our bus. Our time together doing these things have made an amazing impact on the lives of so many. Your support and allowing me to share my time with others mean more to me than you will ever know. Thank you to Janice and to the others for nominating us. We accept this award on behalf of the entire Street Angels community of over 5,000 followers. More so, we accept this award on behalf of our friends, our unsung heroes. Thank you.
Eva, Shelly, Coach Jay, thank you for your big hearts and for showing such compassion to the vulnerable especially. The Positively Milwaukee Awards would not be possible without two very important supporters, Heiser Automotive Group and the Scripps Howard Foundation. Now, Heiser believes in the power of the positive, and back this year as our presenting sponsor, Heiser CEO Mary Ann Scafidi and her team. In addition to the sponsorship, Heiser generously chauffeured each of our honorees to this event tonight. That's pretty nice. Thank you, Heiser. Very special. And we must also thank the Scripps Howard Foundation, which is donating thousands of dollars to local charities in the names of each of our honorees. And here to tell us more, yes? And here to tell us more is Vice President of Marketing for EW Scripps, Jessica Rappaport.
Thank you.
Jessica.
Thank you, Carol. The Scripps Howard Foundation strongly believes that we do well by doing good. And you don't need to look any further than the people being honored here tonight to see just how true that is. Tonight's honorees each have selected a local charity, and the Scripps Howard Foundation is very proud to donate $1,000 to each organization in the honoree's name. And the charity of our Inspiration of the Year honoree will receive an additional $4,000. Tonight's local charity recipients are COPS, Concerns of Police Survivors, the Neighborhood Children's Sports League, Pathfinders, Warrior Songs, Street Angels Incorporated, First Stage Theater Academy, Southeast Hockey Association of Wisconsin, the Gilbert Brown Foundation. On behalf of the Scripps Howard Foundation, I'd like to congratulate all of our honorees for making this world a better place. Thank you.
These people do something that nobody else wants to do. They care about the community so much.
It takes a very special person to put that uniform on, day in and day out, knowing that they may not come back to their families.
I believe the community at whole has a lot of respect for the officers.
It's amazing to know that the police have this support.
Abraham Lincoln called it the last full measure of devotion, to dedicate one's life to a cause greater than yourself, and to give that life in the service of others. For almost 22 years, every police officer who started a shift in the city of Milwaukee lived to see the end of it. That makes the loss of 2 officers in the span of just 7 weeks this summer all the more difficult. For Charles Irvine Jr., service was his destiny. All he wanted to do was follow in the path of his stepfather and become a firefighter. Instead, he put on a different uniform. At 19, he was a police aide. By 21, a graduate of the academy. At just 23 years old, he gave his life on the streets of the city he chose to serve. For Michael Michalski, there was that same call to duty. First a dispatcher, then a sheriff's deputy, then 17 years as a cop's cop. Michalski gave of himself time and time again until he died, trying to make all of us just a little bit safer. Tonight, we honor the lives of these 2 devoted men who gave the city of Milwaukee their last full measure of devotion. Charles Irvine Jr., Michael Michalski, our community heroes, here to honor his officers, Police Chief Alfonso Morales. Thank you.
Deeply honoring. This is extremely humbling. I want to start off by thanking WTMJ for this is a different perspective that I've never seen, is the Positively Milwaukee side in this forum on how you're showcasing the good part of Milwaukee. It is much, much needed. Mr. J, that's amazing. It is amazing because it starts with our youth. And when it gets to law enforcement and we say, how are we fixing these problems? It starts with the youth. It really does. Thank you for what you're doing on behalf of everybody in Milwaukee. I can't help but, in law enforcement, we see the negative part. I mentioned our youth. We see the homeless. You're exactly right. What does everybody see? The homeless. And there's two types. You have the drug addiction, but you have the homeless, the mental health issues where they're homeless. And what do you do with them? Evan, Shelley, thank you very much for what you do, because we need help out there. We need help in helping what we're going to do with the homeless. It's an eyesore, but they're people, they're human beings that need attention. They are not dumb. You're exactly right. And if you get a chance to talk to some of these people that are out there, it's like, what do you do to help them? And it's happy to see and refreshing on a mental health, on the law enforcement aspect, that there's actually people who care and are trying to do something. So thank you very much for what you do. When we talk about two individuals who gave their life, it's in an era where you saw transition in Milwaukee with the police department, a transition of leadership. And within that leadership, there's always a transition of issues that come around with it, or what you take ownership of. I'm a Milwaukee resident, born and raised here in the city, product of Milwaukee Public Schools. I always say I'm 1 degree of separation from Milwaukee residents, and it shows watching some of these videos. I know people in there. It's just the nature of the business. We're only 600,000 here. We're a city with a small town feel. What was disturbing is coming into all the turmoil with the police department. We had several things that we came into, we're trying to fix. But publicly, I kept saying we want to change the image of the department and really engage with the public. Starting off, that was not the case. What I feel bad about is it took the death of two of our own to show what Milwaukee's all about and to bring back that faith on our department. And those go to my apologies to the Irvine and Mahowski family, that you had to be a part of losing a family member, but to bring both sides together. And at the end, I could not believe the level of support for law enforcement, for the Milwaukee Police Department, that came as a result of the death of two of our own. It was amazing. It was amazing to see inner cities, to drive through the inner city, the economically challenged neighborhoods, and see people on the overpasses supporting us. What you don't realize is how that helps the mental health of a law enforcement officer, to see that there's good people regardless of the neighborhood, from economically challenged neighborhoods to some of the upper neighborhoods that we went through on our way to our funeral homes or our cemeteries. That's amazing. And we can't thank you enough as residents of the city of Milwaukee, county of Milwaukee, and state of Wisconsin, to show how strong we are and how we come together in times of these. It was very helpful to see, and again, helpful for the mental health, and to pick up the morale with the department, to see that Milwaukee does care about their city and Milwaukee cares about their law enforcement department. Thank you all very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Chief. Stick around. Let's all remain standing for just a moment here. Chief Morales, thank you for that. Here to accept the Community Hero Awards, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the girlfriend of Charles Irvine Jr., Marissa Martinez, and the son of Michael Mahalski, John Mahalski. you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Morales, for that beautiful tribute. John and Marissa, we do know that you're in pain. We know you're still hurting, but we know that the entire community continues to pray for the Irvine and Mahalski families because we all mourn the loss of two of Milwaukee's finest. Now we have a story that shows just how powerful the love of a parent can be. We're going to celebrate an Air Force veteran who set out to help his son, really, but in the process, he enriched the lives of hundreds of other children. Here is Live at Daybreak's Brian Niznansky and Elise Preston.
Good evening. Juana Rios served in the U.S. Air Force for 13 years, but even after he left the military, that spirit of service and duty never went away.
Yeah, when his son Andy, who happens to be autistic, told him he wanted to play hockey, Juan was determined to make that wish come true.
What he didn't know at the time is just how profoundly that effort would impact other kids like Andy.
Today, Coach Juan and his team are showing all of us what's possible with a little hard work and a lot of love.
When he first started, he didn't know how to skate. He didn't know how to coach. He had never done anything like this. And I kind of sat back and said, sure, you go try it, honey. You go try it. I'm 110% behind you. If you want to do that, that's great. I had no idea that it would turn into something amazing.
The Special League? My dad set this up because, well, there's not a lot, if any, special leagues for kids with special needs in Milwaukee, and my dad wanted to change this.
Shaw is the Southeast Hockey Association of Wisconsin. We play here at a Wilson Park. Our division, special hockey, same mission, but for kids with special needs. So we take it a little bit slower. We take their time. So if it takes them a year to learn how to skate, so be it. We have gone to 3 different tournaments so far, and then this past season we went to the U.S. Disabled Hockey Festival.
Being on the ice is very freeing. I have seen some of these kids grow and change, and they just have these big smiles on their faces, and everything else, all the anxiety that might be out there on the ice doesn't exist.
It's just amazing because his understanding and patience is just so heartwarming because, you know, you need more people like that in the world, you know, that just truly care, that truly want to see everybody do the best they can at whatever they're doing.
I grew up in Puerto Rico, went to college there, became an officer in the United States Air Force, went on active duty, served for a few years. I left the service. The spirit of service, I don't think ever left me. Once you have served, it just stays with you. And it becomes a question of, there's a need, I can fulfill it, why don't I do it? It's about them, not me, it's about them.
Well, I just really wanted to smack a puck around and do some skating. Just looked very fun. Being with these other kids, it's kind of good to know that I'm not alone.
They come out of a game, they come out of a practice, and they're just so happy. What else can you ask for? Wow, it's amazing.
Juan saved my daughter's life. In 2016, she was hospitalized for 11 days and then was intensive outpatient for 3 months. And in that time, Juan really got her to a place where she started feeling much better about herself, more self-confidence. So even off the ice, he's very involved with his families and trying to help. I don't know where we would be without Coach Juan.
They see me doing this, they see me putting all this effort. That's a little seed that will be planted here, that when they grow up, they say, yeah, I should go out and help others. It's not about, not about me, it's about others. That's what we did. That's why I served in the military, that's why I'm doing this. Not about me.
I love him so much. He means a lot to me, and I mean a lot to him.
What an incredible story. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage our inspiring veteran,
Coach Juana Rios. Amazing.
You owe me, Katie. You owe me. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to begin by thanking the great folks of TNJ4. Great job you do doing this. I really appreciate what you do. I know that there's other veterans out there who are doing much bigger things than I am, and to be picked, humbling, very humbling, just for doing something to improve our community and our state. Colin Powell once said, children need to get a high-quality education, avoid violence in the criminal justice system, and gain jobs, but they deserve more. We want them to learn not just reading and math, but fairness, caring, self-respect, family commitment, and civic duty. I believe that this night, this award recognizes really the work of a lot of people in Shaw to make this happen. When we started, there was nothing, like I said before. We did have some children with special needs play with Shaw, but really there was nothing here in Milwaukee to make it happen, to make it available to them. And Andy came up to me one day and said, I would like to have the same feeling of accomplishment and success that my brother and sister have. After I picked up the pieces of my heart, because he broke it, we started doing this. By now we have 10 skaters. From Milwaukee, Waukesha, Racine, Osage County, and now we're even going into Janesville and Kenosha. I mean, it's growing, and it's awesome. It's my biggest source of pride, 3 things. We're giving children with special needs a chance to learn and play a great sport. It's a lot of fun. Number 2, the fact that we're giving the children of families with low resources a chance to play a sport that is quite expensive, and they're doing it for very low cost or no cost at all, thanks to grants and donations like the one tonight. And the fact that we're giving children, regular traditional players, a chance to interact with children with special needs, that is teaching them the kindness, the caring, the commitment, that civic duty that will make them better citizens in the future. Now, the award may have my name on it, but I think there's a lot of people behind it, and I want to recognize some of them real quick. First, Wade Van Westin. Wade, his son played for Shaw until he graduated from high school in 2017. At that point, he could have walked away. But during a tournament with his son, he saw, in St. Louis, if I recall correctly, he saw a special hockey team get taken to the ice. And he started asking some questions, and the idea came up. Little did he know that he and I were coming with the same idea at about the same time. That was awesome. Thanks, Wade. Next one. It is one thing to want to teach kids with special needs how to play hockey. It is another thing to know what the heck you're doing. And for a boy from Puerto Rico who never had skated in his life, who had never been to an ice arena until he was in his 40s. That was different. So we have had, in the time that we've been with Shaw, our son Josh has had 2 coaches out of the 6 years that he's been there that have really influenced. In fact, he has been with those two coaches 5 of 6 years, and they are here tonight. Josh Blumen, Rick Ban, thank you guys. I really look forward to you guys being a mentor to Josh, but more importantly, being a teacher to me, even if you don't know it. The next one, Shaw, the organization of Shaw. Shaw is almost 50 years old. For 50 years, we have been teaching kids how to play hockey and love the sport. The next logical step was going into kids with special needs. Past presidents, Jamie Rabarczyk and Justin Thundercloud, and our current president, Rich Gray, have made sure that we've had the time and the volunteers available to make it happen. Rich is here with us tonight. Rich, I want to thank you on behalf of the entire Shaw for being there for us. Last, but certainly not least, I want to thank my life partner, the woman who sacrificed her career, has been following me for 19 years around the country. You probably saw her speaking in the video. Unbeknownst to me, she nominated me for this. She was a teacher, and her training as a teacher allowed her to realize early on there's something different about Andy. And she has been his biggest advocate, his greatest warrior on his behalf. And more importantly, when my own anxiety and ADHD threatened to knock me off the target and knock my view of what's going on, what I'm aiming for, she has been there. Katie, thank you so much, and I love you. One more quote from Colin Powell. He also said one day, "A dream doesn't become a reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work." This award, this recognition, symbolizes that hard work, determination, and sweat that has been put together. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything. God bless. Have a good night.
Thank you, Juan. We appreciate your hard work, determination, and sweat as well. Our next honoree also knows a lot about serving our country, but her patriotic calling is quilting, and every stitch is a symbol of gratitude. Here to introduce us to our inspiring senior is WTMJ Radio's Steve Scafidi.
When Catherine Tink Linhart and her group of volunteers create a quilt, they have a very specific recipient in mind. Each carefully crafted patchwork is made for someone who has served our country. Some are active duty, some are veterans, and some have made the ultimate sacrifice. These quilts are presented at formal ceremonies just about anywhere Tink's group encounters someone who's been in the service. But no matter who receives one, the message sewn into each quilt is the same: thank you. Tink does have one rule, though. Don't call them blankets.
Quilts are not blankets. You've got the pieced top, you've got the batting, and you've got the backing fabric. Somebody quilts all that together. They are not blankets, they are quilts. And there's a lot of time and effort and thought that goes into making quilts. Quilts of Thanks, we're a group of quilters who believe in saying thank you to our veterans and our active duty military personnel who've returned home. And for us, the way to show that we care is to create a quilt.
A quilt is a symbol of home, and it really symbolizes being at home, being at peace, being safe, being warm, being comforted.
When you put it around you, it's just you get a hug of love.
We got into this because our son joined the Marine Corps. After 9/11, he felt very strongly about serving. When they were heading home, when they got out of Iraq in January of '05, I believe we had lost 51 Marines and sailors.
There were good friends of his who were killed. Yeah.
In a radiation haze, I said, what are we going to do for the families? Let's do quilts. I hadn't quilted. I didn't know what was involved. And it just kind of grew from there.
Tink was, at that point, going through breast cancer treatment, and basically we supported each other in that process. There are thoughts and prayers that go into almost every stitch.
It's fun, it's a creative outlet, and the best part of it is that we can say thank you to somebody. When we give a quilt to a Vietnam veteran, it's not just thank you for your service, but it's welcome home, because nobody ever welcomed the Vietnam veterans home. We're 50 years later and nobody ever welcomed these guys home. This is what it's about. It's about thanking the veterans.
Every time I put this quilt on, and it's almost daily for a good 6 or 7 months of the year here in Wisconsin, I never feel cold, I never feel alone. I always feel the warmth, and I feel my service was valued and appreciated.
We have heard of recipients who have insisted that they be buried with their quilts.
What a tribute that is to that love and that care, that compassion, that they would want to take it to their grave with them.
I don't think you can serve, especially in a military zone, in a deployed war zone, and come back unchanged. You can't tell looking at somebody that they're suffering. And if our quilts can ease their suffering, even for a little bit, then I thank God that I can make them. And that we have so many volunteers who are willing to step up and do this. They're more than quilts. They're hugs. They really are hugs. We don't know a better way to say thank you.
Please welcome to the stage the 2018 Positive in Milwaukee Inspiring Senior, along with her husband Dick, Tink Linhart.
Thank you. It's an honor to be among so many amazing people. It's really humbling. I think most of what I could say, I'll try to keep it short, otherwise I'd go on forever. I want to read you what I came across recently that I think sums up quilting. It is the art of stitching together little pieces of your heart, soul, talent, vision, using threads of love. And rather than speaking, we're going to show you what we do best. Juan, would you please return to the stage? Jonathan?
Juana Rios served in the United States Air Force from 1993 to 2006. He was an aircraft maintenance officer, and he spent 11 years on active duty and 2 years in the Air Force Reserves. He was not in a war zone, but he supported the combat efforts when he was deployed to Spain to work on cargo planes going to and from combat zones. This will help keep him warm after he comes off the hockey rink.
Tink, you really don't need to speak because this is perfect. This is what that is so wonderful. Such a beautiful presentation. Tink and Dick, thank you so much for honoring our veterans. John and Juan, thank you for your service. We are blessed to have you in our midst. And what a beautiful quilt. So patriotic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a 10-minute intermission, so please feel free, move around. Our announcer will inform us when it's time to fill our seats. Remember, we are taping this for television, as Vince told you earlier. So when you hear the announcer, please return promptly. But before we take a break, here's a message from our sponsor, Heiser Automotive.
Hi, I'm Marianne from Heiser. Last year's Positively Milwaukee Awards was such an inspiration to me that I'm happy to be here again this year. I am so proud of our community and that Heiser Automotive is a part of it, with our own efforts to paying it forward. The individuals that we are honoring tonight had no motive except to make a difference in someone else's life. Tonight's winners have truly touched my heart with their love for our community. Thank you, and keep it going, Milwaukee.
Teamwork is at its best at Lincoln Park on Saturdays when the Neighborhood Children's Sports League takes to the gridiron. 59-year-old Bob Redick has been coaching players for 27 years.
They're my babies. This one right here. They won today.
His dedication is still strong as he tackles stage 4 colon cancer.
You said that the doctors told you not to come, but you
Right.
came.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the boys need me. And I'm going to be out here until the big guy decides he needs me up there sitting next to him.
For players in the Neighborhood Children's Sports League, Bob Redick was so much more than a football coach. For 25 years, he challenged his young athletes to give it their all, on and off the field. He insisted that his players were focused on homework as well as the sports. So when some kids were having trouble, he even took them in. He would take them fishing. And as a coach and a dad, he could be tough, but he was also funny, and he loved to sing. And as you just saw, a couple of years ago, I had the pleasure of interviewing Bob for a story about the Neighborhood Children's Sports League. At the time, he was sick, but he was determined to be there for his players. And even during the illness, I could see the passion that Bob had for those kids. It was just incredible. Bob is gone now, but his legacy is long, and his light will never dim.
Bob's spirit is what you'll see out here. Bob's spirit will never leave the Neighborhood Children's Sports League.
He always say, it don't matter if you win or lose, you played. You won because you played.
It's been a family thing all along.
This was his family. You know, you got your birth family, but this is his family.
The league is Neighborhood Children's Sports League, is NCSL.
They always used to have a saying, this ain't NCSL, this is Bob Redick League.
The league's mission is just to help the inner city youth, to help give them an opportunity to do something other than, you know, being in the streets and being a statistic.
He used to run the streets, so he knew what it was like for these kids. And to get them off the streets, even if it's just 4 days a week, that's saving them a little bit.
He often paid for football equipment, registration fees to help children make sure that they can play because some of the kids didn't have the money to get the stuff.
If you need anything, he got you.
He always thought about everybody else. He was very caring and giving.
There were times where he would have children that weren't related to him living with us to help the parents out because their situation wasn't the greatest.
He knew what his love and his passion was, and it was coaching young boys to become, lead them on a path to become men through football. That's who Bob was.
Football was everything to him.
He was the funniest guy you ever, man, he just kept me in stitches.
He was hilarious. He was a character. If you knew him and met him, you would have loved him too.
He would tell stories when we were kids to other people, like, that didn't even happen.
I used to call him Bernie Mac. He looked like him, and he was as funny as Bernie was.
He would always mess up the punchline, but that made it even funnier.
He was hilarious. He knew how to bring light to a situation, whether it was good or bad.
He would push the envelope just to see how you would react. And I said, man, why are you doing that? And he said, I wanted to make sure you were strong enough to handle it.
When we found out he had cancer, then that's when everything wasn't the same anymore.
The last week he went really fast. He was put into hospice on that Friday, and he passed away on that Sunday.
The day he died, I just went to, I kissed him, told him I loved him, and I appreciate everything he did for me. Just being there, just being there.
It's hard to talk about him, because we was just like this, two peas in a pot. I could talk about this, but when I talk about him, it breaks me down.
I think he was born to do what he did.
Losing him is like losing a soldier, you know, losing a mentor in the streets.
Those guys right there, they played for him as kids, and they came back to show support for him. All this is for him.
The hole that's left is his leadership, his direction, his guidance.
It's not even necessarily all the trophies he won. You know, it's all the kids he affected.
He was the positive figure in your life, you know.
He dedicated his time to a lot of kids, a lot of kids.
A great leader's gone. There's not too many leaders out here. Somebody who was willing to stand up for kids.
As long as there's breath in my body, I'm going to make sure that the people who are in charge and who we left it to will never forget his legacy.
I make sure they understand you won because you played. You played the game.
And here to accept the Positively Milwaukee Legacy Award in memory of Bob is his wife, Cheryl Redick, and his son, Robert Redick III.
I had a speech written, but I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to use it. He wouldn't want me to anyway. Whenever he talked in front of his kids or in front of banquets where we had award ceremonies for the children, he never had a speech. It was always from his heart. That's what was most important to him, was to come directly from his heart. Everything he said, he meant, and he meant everything he said. First and foremost, I'd like to thank God for allowing us to be here. It's unfortunate my dad isn't here, but like the rest of the people that have been recipients of the awards tonight, he was a person that cared more about others. To me, the most common word that I would give everyone in this room would be selfless, caring, thoughtful, and everyone in here did meaningful work, whether it was help a veteran, help a homeless person, help children. It was always someone that was less fortunate than you, that needed more than you, but you were willing to do things for them, even if you didn't have it in you, in your pocket, or in your heart. You still did what you could to give more back to them than to yourself. And that's what he was. You know, on the video, they talked multiple times about how he helped children and he helped them play football, but it was never about football for him. When we started in 1992, he started because I loved football and he loved football. You know, his father and son, that was one of the common things we had in common, was football. You know, he loved the Redskins, you know, unfortunately. But, you know, that's where we had our battles at, but that was his favorite team. The Hogs, he called them, you know. And football was something that always brought him happiness, it brought him joy, and it brought him peace. You know, my father wasn't a very well-educated man. He didn't get his GED until he was well into his 30s. But he still did the things that he could to ensure not only that his family was okay, but that the people that were less fortunate than him were okay. It didn't matter if you were related to him or not. If he had it, he gave it to you. I remember countless times people living with us because they fell on hard times or because their parents didn't have enough to give them themselves. It didn't matter to him. If he had it, he made sure you had it as well. Oftentimes he would come late to practice and I'm sitting there waiting for him like, where are you? And he's like, I'm pulling up now. He's got like 8 kids jumping out his truck. And I'm like, how are you getting all these kids in your truck? And they're all sitting on each other's laps. But he went to go pick each and every one of them up to make sure that they made it to practice. They were late, but they were there. And that's the things he did. If he had to go and buy them cleats and pay their registration fees, he made sure that they could play because he understood the people that we were affecting. They didn't necessarily have everything that he had. And he didn't grow up, you know, the wealthiest person. He had 12 brothers and sisters, and they didn't necessarily have a lot. But even though he understood that just because someone doesn't have a lot doesn't mean they don't mean something to someone else. People themselves are a joy to other people. And he tried to do his best job to be as helpful, as kind, and as joyful he could to other people. He knew when he went to go pick these kids up that they were on hard times. Sometimes they would come out the house crying, and he would explain to them, it's going to be all right. You just keep playing football, and you keep doing what you're doing at school to make sure you better your circumstance. And no matter what, he did what he could to help the people that he could when he could.
Robert, Cheryl, we know that is very difficult. God bless you, and thank you for sharing so much of Bob with Milwaukee, and what a treasure he was for thousands of Milwaukee kids. He really has been a godsend for our city. Now, one of our Positively Milwaukee Awards goes to someone in the spotlight. It's a person who uses their celebrity to do good. Like our Legacy Award honoree Bob Redick, this year's Beacon Award recipient uses football as a way to teach kids the importance of teamwork, commitment, and discipline. Tonight's recipient is a Packers legend whose heart really never left Wisconsin. And here to present this award are my colleagues Brian Goddard and Lance Allen.
Well, here we are again. Gilbert Brown racked up a lot of impressive stats during his football career, but one of his most important numbers is 156.
That's the number of Wisconsin charities supported in part by the Gilbert Brown Foundation. From breast cancer to bullying, Gilbert's organization is not afraid to tackle some of the state's biggest challenges.
And one of the events that Gilbert is most passionate about is the foundation's annual football camp right here in Milwaukee.
I've seen it in person. It's awesome. The camp is free, and it focuses on a lot more than just the fundamentals of football.
It's an amazing transformation for the kids to say they are human. Oh yeah, we're human. We're just like you. We all started just like this. And we want you to know what the successful road can be if you use your mind. Come on, big fella. I want them to understand that it's okay to help the next man that doesn't have the things that you have. We're not just talking about football, because everybody out here ain't gonna make it. It may be one dude out of that whole group over there that's gonna make it. Whatever you need to do to get yourself successful in life, do not count on being a professional football player. The coaches that come out here, they're all fathers.
Keep moving, let's go!
When you got great parents like this is what you do. You give back. But I'm not afraid to tell another man I love him because I care about him, you know? And I do. Just like I tell all these kids out here every day, I love y'all, man. I wouldn't be doing this.
There he is. There he is.
I don't want him to go out and leave these gates without them knowing somebody loves him. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's nothing but love.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this year's recipient of the Positively Milwaukee Beacon Award,
number 93, the Grave Digger, Packers legend, Gilbert Brown.
All these short people up here. Them two look like a singing duet. Two dummies. How y'all doing tonight? Good? Good. Well, first of all, I want to say my mama told me to put on a suit, and I had to go out and find somebody to make me a suit. So he was so amazed at all the fabric he used. I brought it with me tonight. So please give a hand to Nas Lane over there. Stand up, Nas. In their suits. He did a wonder. Big man got swag. Tired of all them pretty boys taking all the swag. Big man got swag too. Like they said, my foundation does over 156 different children's charities. Everybody said, how you get to 156? Well, I started at 1, then another kid comes, it's 2, 3. So I got about 150. Lady that runs my foundation, Miss Lori Stevenson, she's awesome. There would be no foundation without her. She was like, big fella, we at 150. Can you tell them no? I said, when them little kids come up to me and ask me, I can't tell them no. You tell them no. 152, 153. So I'm up to 156. But I must say, my foundation does a great job. I do a lot of fundraising in the summertime. A lot of campgrounds help me out. My foundation, I believe, is the only one that can say all the money that comes into my foundation goes out to them kids. I don't have no administrative costs or anything, you know, so. So doing this camp for 13 years, it's been a blessing for me because I believe I changed lives out there. You know, some of these kids in summertime ain't got nothing to do, so they do other things, and I'm trying to prevent that, you know. My foundation does a lot of bully stuff, which is very important to me because in our schools, there needs to be a change. There needs to be a difference. And I want to plant a seed in your head, everybody's head right now. How would you feel? How would you feel if your child cried themselves to sleep every night and you didn't know nothing about it? How would you feel? That's the important part. That's why I do what I do. Also want to say, I was out there on the field one day, so I'm coaching, and somebody pulling on my shirt. I'm like, stop. Pull on my shirt. So I turn around and guess who it is? Bob. With a big old tray of fish. I'm like, you know I went fishing, big fella. I bought you some fish. I said, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I ate that fish, so that fish was good, fellas. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I tell you the truth, I don't know why I'm up here tonight. All these people before me and come up after me, they're awesome. They are what makes Milwaukee move and grow and go. I'm just a football player. Dude asked me at the table over there, he said, man, what do you miss much about playing football? I said, I miss choking folks. I really do. I almost choked him once or twice. Coming to the locker room talking that crazy stuff. But anyway, I told him, I said, you can't do that no more because now they put you in jail if you do it, you know? So kind of wised up on that. So I'm just out doing the things, and I really do appreciate this award. Thank you, guys. But only award I need is those kids' smiles. That's all I need. And I'll keep doing it as long as I can. Old Earl out there be helping me. He gets on my nerves. But he helps me out a lot. So they're probably like, get your butt off. I'll say, okay. But again, thank you guys very much. I'm not a part of the discount double check guys, you know. The guys with the long, pretty hair that fly around. But I am a part of a team that went to 2 Super Bowls back to back. And last thing, everybody love offense. Offense get all the glory, and Brett Favre and all them pretty boys. But y'all forget who had to go get all them interceptions back he threw. Remember that. Last thing, don't get off. They're like, get your butt up. Last thing, and people fuss about when he went over to Minnesota, and I tell everybody, I said, look, I love to play pool. This is how I get my frustrations out about it. There's a purple 4-ball on that pool table. I hit it so hard the first shot I get. Then I leave it alone. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. Hey, they about to sing.
Congratulations, Gilbert. And you know, everybody around town loves your down-to-earth nature. You always say you are no superstar. You just want to be treated like a regular guy. But you have touched thousands of lives, not only on the field, but off the field, especially with your young people. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to have you. And speaking of young people, sometimes it takes a young person to teach us grown-ups a thing or two. We have to learn about what's most important about life. And our next honoree is just that kind of person. Here to present our Inspiring Youth Award are the anchors of Live at Daybreak, Susan Kim and Vince Vitrano.
Carol, thank you. Milwaukee's first stage has one mission: to transform lives through theater. And one way it does that is through a program called Next Steps Theater Academy.
So Next Steps is specifically geared towards kids with autism and other special needs. So over the last couple of years, many of the kids in that program have been helped by an incredible young intern. Her name is Kate.
And Kate's outlook on life and her love of the arts have gotten her through a lot of pain that most of us could never imagine.
And so now at 15, she is using her passion for theater and her own story to help other young people conquer their challenges.
One of my favorite quotes is Mahatma Gandhi, "In a gentle way, you can shake the world." And I really think Kate exemplifies this. She is graceful, she is so gentle, but behind that there is resiliency and strength.
She knows that she can inspire people and that she understands at this young age that she has the capacity to do that is incredible. I mean, I think she's a rare person.
She's accomplished so much more at her age with so many more challenges that I'm just amazed with it, and she inspires me to be better.
Kate is a natural, I think, with all children, but especially with the children in our Next Steps program. And again, Next Steps is designed for young people on the autism spectrum, but not limited to that diagnosis.
No amount of stories about Next Steps and helping the students with autism can really prepare you for how amazing it is. They go through challenges none of us can really imagine. I've been told that sometimes they never leave the house and their only social activities are coming to first stage. Their perseverance through all of the challenges they've faced is something I don't know if I could ever even possess.
She's been able to watch those kids progress over the last 3 years, and she loves it. And she said the kids are very genuine, very friendly, very welcoming, and they're just very happy to be there.
There have been students who come in here characterized as nonverbal, and at the end of their time at Next Steps, even that, they are saying lines.
No matter who they are or where they came from, Kate is there making sure that everyone is together, accepted, and welcomed.
Life has been hard for Kate. Definitely, you know, I would never say it's been a piece of cake for her.
When Kate was 7, 8 months old, it was a little bit before Christmas, she just had a cold. And they did a blood culture on her and found out that she had bacteria in her blood. And that's a really bad thing.
It really damaged my entire body. That's why I lost my arm and most of my feet. But it also severely damaged my brain. And I was really close to developing autism. So when I look at these other kids, I see myself in them because I was so close to being them.
Kate has always said that Children's Hospital saved her physically, but the arts saved her mentally.
She is a leader. She has taken everything that has happened to her and puts it out there to say, if I can do these things, well, you can't say can't.
Kate makes me a better person. She makes me a better person by me watching to see with all these challenges that she has, and then she just looks at them and just marches right through them.
We are so proud of you for being just such an inspirational, young lady and somebody who we can be so proud of, and so can everybody else. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage our Positively Milwaukee inspiring youth.
Kate Kettlehone.
Wow, I really do not know how you guys can speak after this. Well, good evening. To everyone at TMJ4, thank you so much for this award. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you. I'd also love to thank my second family at First Stage. Some of you I have known since my first day there, and have become like friends and mothers to me. Thank you also to the people at the United Performing Arts Fund. It has been an honor to fund the arts with you. Thank you. Some of you well, all of you have made me a better person and a stronger artist. First Stage is a place I've always been welcomed. Life outside of First Stage has not always been easy for me. I can't go to any public place without being stared at by children and adults. First Stage taught me how not to be bothered by people's stares and how to flourish in them, to enjoy the spotlight. First Stage also taught me that I can do things equally with others without being downgraded for being different, something I'm eternally grateful for. Because of this welcoming feeling I felt at First Stage, I love giving the same feeling to other people. I've been a part of Next Steps for years. Next Steps, as you know, are classes for students on the autism spectrum. In the last few years, I have seen the students grow so much. From a girl running to the first time in 13 years, to a kid being my friend, being able to focus enough to read a script in class. Being with these kids and watching their stories unfold has been watching a fairy tale. By some miracle, with the magical powers of theater, by the time the clock strikes midnight on our last class, students learn so many new life skills through stage skills that they look like Cinderella being a princess. It's truly been a magical experience. My dream for these students is to grant their wish to have a play that is all about them. Thank you.
Oh, gosh. Wow. A star is born. Wow. If I could have been that eloquent at that age. Gosh, unbelievable, unbelievable. We are really lucky because we have so many wonderful people. And Kate, yeah, I mean, you just blow me away. Sorry. Thank you for being such an inspiration to us old people. But more importantly, the fact that you have compassion and concern for people who might be different, because we all can be celebrated with our own special gifts. Thank you so much, because you are a beautiful example. You truly are. Wow. Well, we've come to the time. This has been wonderful. It's time to hand out now our final award of the evening, and this is very special. Our Heiser Automotive Group Inspiration of the Year Award. Now, this is an award that will go to somebody who has already been honored tonight. It is somebody who embodies all that is positively Milwaukee. And this person actually makes Milwaukee a better place to live, and we could not be happier to recognize them again. And here to present this award is Marianne Scafidi from Heiser Automotive. Yay, Mary, thanks for being back with us.
Thanks, Carol. It is an honor to be part of the Positively Milwaukee. All of the winners are incredible role models. There is one of those winners is about to receive the Inspiration of the Year. They will receive an additional $4,000 from the Scripps Howard Foundation to benefit their charity. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's Positively Milwaukee Heiser Automotive Group Inspiration of the Year goes to...
Suspense drum roll.
Somebody do that. Okay. Eva Welsh and Shelley Saracen. Milwaukee's Street
Congratulations, Street Angels. Come on up, everybody. Bring the whole table. Come on up on the stage. Congratulations.
I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much. I honestly didn't think we were going to win this award. You know, every penny that we get goes back to the streets, so it means the world to us. We don't have funding The community funds us, so this $4,000 is going to go a long, long ways. It's a lot of socks.
It's a lot of socks.
I'm speechless. I really don't know what to say, but it is a lot of socks. And that is very relieving. And it'll help us get another bus so we can serve more people and reach others who are just needing that helping hand to get back on their own feet. So thank you so much.
Wow. I love your necklace.
Oh, thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is just, it's too much. But we've come to the end of the show, and this has been such an honor. And to be able to recognize people like the Street Angels and each of our winners, I mean, everybody, you're an esteemed group of people. We want to say thank you to everybody who sent in a nomination, because we know there's so many more people, thousands of people out there. This is just a small fraction, and this is really what Milwaukee and life is all about. This is America. A special, yes, we can applaud that. A special salute to our wonderful team who work behind the scenes. We have a lot of people to thank. We're not going to do that, but from all of us here at today's TMJ4, thank you for being here, and a heartfelt, wonderful night. And don't forget, think positive, because we all can do something positive to help others. Thank you for being here. Thank you. You guys are wonderful. Thank you.